It's episode 5 of GrayVee on the City.
The GrayVee on the City this week is Life in the Clouds by Collective Arts from Hamilton, Ontario.
As well as Jurassic IPA by Cameron's Brewing in Oakville, Ontario.
Nice. That's a new brewery that we're
featuring,
sampling. Yes.
Yeah, first time.
We've been doing Collective Arts for a lot of our episodes, I feel like.
At least one of us is drinking it, yeah.
Exactly, because they have such a diverse collection.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome beers. But I really like the can, this can, actually, because it has a guy that has like a piece of paper that's kind of like an emoticon, and he's holding it up to his actual face.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, he's put him up front for the world.
Yeah, it's a statement about how we hide behind social media and stuff like that.
We look for gratification through it. And,
exactly.
Yeah,
I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And all of that on a can of beer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Never knew beer could be so deep.
Pretty exceptional times. So it's sunny outside today, at least. Mm-hmm. We're getting nicer weather. We're meeting our neighbors, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
From afar.
Of course.
It's just like balcony high.
From balcony to balcony.
Hi. I feel like we're in the type of position where because we're at the end, we actually get like a lot of social interaction.
Mm-hmm, yeah, we get people walking by all the time.
People will be walking their dogs and they're like, what's going on over there? Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah. Saw a girl walking her cat the other day, actually.
Yeah, that's true. We saw a cat walker.
Yeah.
And I was like so excited, I just like harassed her. It's just like, oh my God, that's amazing.
I don't think she saw our cat on the balcony with us.
No, sorry.
She just thought we were just yelling at our cat for some reason.
Yeah. It was just like, blah, I want to do that. I'm pretty sure I said that. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. And then her cat like just stopped walking and it was like super awkward. Amazing.
Right in front of her place. Yeah.
Super good.
Yeah. Same type of cat that was in Meet the Fockers.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, do you remember that?
How do you know that? I didn't even get a look at the cat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
nice
cool.
Cat. What
if we can flush toilets too?
I don't even know what cat was in Meet the Fockers.
That's
like, such an old, that's such a weird reference. I feel like only I don't know. I feel like the young millennials wouldn't get that. The older millennials would.
Yeah, the mid to old. Yeah. It's you know those like they're colored like Siamese cats, but they have long hair. I'm not sure what type
Are they
of
like
cat is.
Persian? Is that a Persian cat?
Maybe. Yeah.
They're cute. Are those the squishy face cats? I like squishy face cats. They're cute.
They're not quite squishy face, but they're more flat than our cat Ray.
Do a squishy face cat. That's actually really good. You should. Oh my God, that's super cute.
Do I have a new career in cat impersonations?
And cat impersonations.
Squishy face impersonations.
My mom can actually do this amazing impression of a Pekingese dog. It's amazing.
Pekingese. I'm trying to think what that is.
It's like a little, like weird squishy face, like a turn-up nose. Yeah, that's great.
Nice.
We'll get her to do it next time. Next time we can be face to face. I think some very positive things will come out of all of this. Mm-hmm. Everyone will work from home. No. And I recently read this article on, I think it was CBC, and they were talking about how it's going to be interesting to see what policies come out of this situation. Because obviously a lot of people have been getting benefits from the Emergency Benefit Fund, the CERB, and it's been really great for people, you know, to be able to access that. And it's been a great social security in this time of like insecurity. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how social security measures and benefits from the government are actually going to continue. And maybe our mindsets will be changed in terms of how we think about social security, how we think about benefits and employment insurance and stuff like that.
Right.
I think that a lot of people, you know, you talk about like welfare and welfare fraud, and people are, you know, usually kind of judgmental and have this certain frame of mind, you know, but when literally all of these people have experienced what it's like to be laid off, what it's like to not know where your source of income is coming from.
Yeah, or whether or not you can get another job.
Yeah, and being able to have a government that will give you a benefit or give you some sort of assurance that you can continue, you know, living. I think that that's huge. And that's a huge mindset change, I hope, for a lot of people. Yeah. To kind of think, well, you know, I know what it's like now.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. I think that could be a really interesting way that the cohort that's most affected, or the generation that's most affected right now, kind of has a shift in thinking.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, given it's not that long, it's, but you know what? The financial impacts are going to stick around for quite some time.
Yeah, years for sure.
Yeah. And I know a lot of like senators and the Senate of Canada, they're looking at this topic, like how are we going to continue while workers are transitioning back into the workforce and stuff. It's going to be an interesting time to look for a job.
I wonder if it'll bring up the topic of universal income again.
Yeah. And that's kind of what the article was hinting at in terms of, is Trudeau going to look at that?
Yeah.
And he made it clear in this particular situation that he wouldn't give a payout to everybody. And I know that the Canada Revenue Agency is basically, they're kind of looking into cases where people claimed the CERB, but actually don't qualify.
Oh.
So now they're trying to like take back that
money.
money.
Yeah. Well, it's like regular
weird.
EI too. Like if you go on EI, but you get a shift here or there, you're supposed to give that money back.
That's true. And they do kind of watch you and see and make
they can
sure.
audit you too.
Exactly.
Suspicious.
So I think it's great that the government's been trusting and the CRA has kind of just been giving out this money. But yeah, I think there's obviously, if you falsified it, there's going to be consequences. Like anything. But yeah, it's cool. I don't know. I think that any policy that comes about, I was reading this political science theory called policy feedback, where basically the idea is that we as citizens don't just, advocate for certain policies and then the policy happens. It's not like necessarily a linear process. Well, it never is linear, but it's not really like citizens' voice policy. It's much more fluid that way. And this idea is that with the policies that are already created or the policies that come about, that can actually create a feedback and a change to future policies, to how citizens, advocate for future policies and stuff like that. So it's basically like this feedback system where the policy is actually feeding back and influencing how the citizens think. So I think in terms of this situation, that's pretty interesting to see all these policies on social security and stuff coming out. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I think it's good to reflect on. But like anything, we have to be careful.
Yeah, it's tricky because once a policy is put into place, it's hard to take it out, right? If you realize it's not going so well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pretend to be super educated on how that whole thing works. I feel like I need to redo, like the basic civics course I feel like I need to do that, like really bad, because I'm just like, oh yeah, I know how our government works, but it's actually very intricate how any government like works. It's super intricate and interesting. Yeah, I was looking actually recently into how China, how their democracy works, and that's like, whoa.
Very loose term there.
I had to go, and I think like the YouTube video was actually pretty dumbed down, and it had like some cute little cartoons and graphics and stuff to try and explain. I still didn't get it, but I don't know. I just I don't have I find it so complicated that like I try to like kind of like process oriented, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like random thought bubbles coming up. But it's pretty funny. But I think that we also have to recognize that there's always ways in which policies can change or become worse. And I think that that could be something that happens, with such a huge deficit and everything like that. Although socially, we're probably a lot more people understand what it's like to have income inequality and insecurity. But I think that could also go the other way. With such a huge deficit, it could be.
I was just going to say that. Are people going to be less likely to want to help people out with such a big deficit? Yeah. They're going to complain, it's going to take even longer to pay that off and whatnot. Yeah,
it depends. I don't know. I'd like to think that if people experience, what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck, to have no idea where your next grocery money is coming from. I would hope that there's some sympathy, but at the same time, there is an economy to recover and everything. But it would be interesting if they could do it kind of slowly and go from there.
Yeah. Because the universal basic income thing, it's not like everyone needs it, right? So if you cut it off at like, let's say 60,000, just throw a number out there. And even make like a gradual cutoff. So like people that make 60,000 don't get as much as people that make 20,000. Almost like a sunset clause or something.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. The amount of people that have needed this benefit recently, the CERB, it's a lot more vast than, most of, or the normal situation, right?
Yeah.
So I think that if we can start thinking, okay, if we can do it at this much of a scale, could we, I don't know, bring it down so that it makes more sense and costs less money.
Yeah.
But pretty interesting. Interesting stuff. Da, 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 da. What do you want to talk about, Gray? I feel like I just I don't know. I threw all this stuff. I basically talked at you for the past 10 minutes or something. You're like, my brain is somewhat dead now. Thank you.
No. Fun fact.
Fun fact. I love fun facts.
Animal fact.
Animal fact. Let's bring it back to the animals.
Elephants.
Elefunkies. That's what they should be called.
Elefunkies, yeah.
Elefunkies. Elefunkies with the trunkies.
Sticking them dancing to disco with their trunks. Elephants can hear through their feet.
What?
Yeah. Their feet, because they're so round and flat.
You have ears on them?
Their feet, they're very flat and round. It's acts like a drum with the membrane. So what they do is they make really low rumbles. And the rumbles travel through the ground further than they would through the air. And they can sense those rumbles through their feet from miles away.
That's not hearing. That's they vibration monitor with their feet.
That's what your ears are doing, just sensing vibrations in the air.
Oh.
Yeah. And there's still a membrane in your ear that vibrates like a drum.
So do they have a membrane in their foot? Is that what you just said?
Well, I think the sole of their foot acts somewhat like a membrane of some sort.
Membrane.
Yeah, so they can communicate over vast different distances.
Foot membrane.
Yeah. Foot ears.
That's actually pretty funny. Yeah. Elephant foot ears.
Yeah.
That is a fun fact. I enjoy that one.
So they like Stompin' Tom. Stop.
Oh boy. That was that's, I don't know.
Start reaching.
There's a certain subset that would like that joke. Yeah.
Yeah. The older subset, I think. Yeah.
That's okay. That's all right. We want listeners of all kinds.
I saw him in North Bay actually once.
Stompin' Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember much. I was pretty young, but I remember the hockey song, of course. So.
Oh, there's a hockey song?
Yeah. Well, the good old hockey game.
Oh, yeah. I know that song. Everyone knows that song. I didn't know that
hockey song.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a stomp and stomp. I'm not, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's a very niche market.
Is it? Yeah.
I think so.
Well, they have a statue of him though, don't they?
Yeah, somewhere I think.
Where the Tulip Festival usually happens.
Oh, really? Oh, in Ottawa?
Near Dow's Lake, yeah.
Oh,
pretty sure they have just basically a dude with a hat.
Yeah.
Stomping or something.
There's one leg in the air, right? Yeah. I think he brought a piece of plywood everywhere and went when he played and stomping the plywood.
Oh, so we just stomp on the plywood?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I had a dream last night that I was a tap dancing performer. And I could sing and tap dance and play the violin at the same time.
Oh, did I tell you about the guy just before the close down? He got hired at our place. He's a tap dancer.
Oh, yeah. At your
Riverside.
At the Riverside Hospital, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what place? He got hired at our place. What? He lives here?
At the hospital, yeah. River Butler now?
He's tap dancer? He's a tap dancer butler. Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
and his dad was a tap dancer as well. So that's where he picked it up. It's like a family tradition now.
So now he just sterilizes medical equipment and tap dances.
Yeah.
Does he tap dance while he does it?
No, not yet.
No. So like, what does a professional tap dancer do?
Well, he's not professional.
Oh, he just
But he just does it for fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
But his dad, he showed me a video on YouTube about when the Queen visited. There was like a celebration at Parliament.
Yeah.
His dad was tap dancing on that day. You get like a quick little shot of him.
Like in the audience?
No, he was on stage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Instead of clapping, he just starts
they do
tap
it for
dancing.
fun. So I'm like, I don't know if they actually like perform or whatever. So the Queen had like a tap dancer beside her?
She wasn't there. She was elsewhere at that point, but it was just part of the celebration.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Tap dancing's cool. I actually used to tap dance.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I didn't last very long, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make noise.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do ballet. I thought it was too boring, so I wanted to make noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That
cool.
sounds like you.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. There's at that Summer Folk Music Festival, sometimes there's bands that do like tap shoes, but they sit and play violins and stuff.
Yeah, no, we
it's
saw a
cool.
band that was doing that. It was crazy. And then I came home and I was like, I could do that.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Apparently that's a thing in like our heads. If you're like really, and like, cause I was looking into how certain people in the United States are like so dumb about like what Trump says. So I was looking into it, and there's actually like, I'm pretty sure like it's a scientific theory or like a psychological theory or whatever, saying that people have this, if they don't know something, they like assume that the way that they think about something is real. So basically, if they don't have like a solid base knowledge in something, I don't know, they just assume that they're right about something. So without having like the proper knowledge.
Right.
So it's basically like a theory that if you're ignorant about something, you're still going to pretend that like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Instead of like just being ignorant.
Right.
So in that sense, people like will be ignorant about what Trump says. And basically just be like, no, he's right.
He's right.
He's
He's right,
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the Flat Earthers, like that documentary that we watched, where basically at the end they prove themselves wrong, but they're just like, no, the experiment was wrong.
There's something wrong with the experiment. We gotta fix it. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that I'm like that with a lot of things. Like I'll see someone super talented, and I'll be like, I could do that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Easy.
I'm ignorant to the fact that like I'm not talented. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. There's a whole bunch of different theories as to why people listen to Trump or whatever. Yeah. And there's actually this really interesting, I feel like I'm saying interesting. It's so interesting. I'm so interested.
Intriguing.
I'm going to go look at my thesaurus after this. Just be like, another word. But there was a lot of research has been done on actually like the brains of people that vote conservative or people that are more right wing.
Yeah.
And what they found is that they actually have higher activity in their, I might need your help with this, amygdala.
Yeah.
And so essentially they have heightened fear. So in that sense, if you have like a heightened fear in your brain, then you're going to react more to a president that like mongers fear all the time, right?
It says, oh, I'll fix it for you, don't worry.
Yeah, and I think that explains like a lot of weird reactions, like the whole disinfectant thing, you know? I think that, you know, if you're already like triggered and super fearful and then your president says something stupid, you're going to eat that up because you're in like a state of shock and a state of anxiety
and you seem
already.
a person in that sort of authority position.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
Be speaking truth and wisdom.
I feel like it's like when you're like, I don't know, when you like injure yourself or something like that, you like do the weirdest thing to like fix it or whatever. And I think that that's how they're thinking. They're not thinking rationally. They're thinking like with that fear and that emotion.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a cool fact.
Yeah.
But there's lots of theories that explain it. And let's be honest, it's only like a really tiny portion of America.
Yeah. And that's always the one that's going to make the news, right? Because that's the flashy story that someone took something that shouldn't have.
Exactly. And they paintbrush all of like the states like that. Yeah. Just like they paintbrush all of Canada. Like what was that show we were watching? And they had
it's The Path. Yeah.
Gray and I were watching this show, and the person ended up like escaping to Canada
from the States.
And like the Canadians that were in there, we were listening to it. I couldn't figure out. I guess I didn't process that she was like in Canada. That's where she went or whatever. But because the accents were so weird, they were like
almost Irish, but not Irish.
Like Irish weird.
They said A, but was it really like harsh, like A, like really, really forced.
And I just looked at Gray and I thought, oh my God, that's how they think Canadians speak.
I thought of that before though, like their view of the way we say A.
Yeah.
Like we see in like American commercials and stuff, they always have like such a harsh A. And they never use it properly. Yeah. Like we always use it at like the end of a sentence.
It's very casual.
It's like, right? Yeah. It's like, weather's nice, eh? Instead of weather's nice, right? You know, but they just use it for anything.
Hey, I'm Canadian, eh?
Yeah. I'll have a coffee, eh?
That's true. It's very exaggerated. Yeah. Which I mean, like in impressions of people, you do exaggerate certain things, but this is just
when it's a serious show, you don't.
Exactly, it was just so weird.
Yeah,
because I was like, "What is she like Irish or something?" Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I don't think we figured out until she got back to the border to cross. Like, oh, they were Canadian.
Wait
That's
a second. That's what we sound like. Oh, super weird.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's fun incidences where Canada's represented. I still feel like the best is South Park's representation of Canada.
South Park, yeah.
Just amazing. And the people from Canada like look different from everybody else.
Don't even have a proper jawline, just the head back.
Oh, so that's perfect. I don't know.
I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with all the COVID stuff, but they'll have some good episodes.
Oh yeah, are they still South Park?
I think
still
so.
Going,
I haven't seen the last few seasons.
No, look it up, but. I feel like there's a certain point where it kind of just gets.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how different.
Because they're always so topical, you know.
Yeah, different comedy outlets deal with it and everything.
Stand-up comics are going to be nothing but COVID for like 3 months.
Yeah, you think so? I feel like it might get tiring, right? Yeah. I feel like we're already seeing pretty good stuff out there from comedians. Like I know Adam Sandler and. Who did we just watch? Which comedian?
What was his name?
The guy from SNL.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, I'm totally blanking on it right now. Pete Davidson. Yes. Oh my Lord, that's embarrassing. You know when your brain just like goes blank and you're like, what is going on? It always happens to me like when I'm like with authority figures or something, my brain will just go completely blank. And like literally I can just hear like a flat line in my head.
This weird panic that sets in because you can't like restart it, you know? You want like a brain defibrillator.
And I don't know, I just have heightened anxiety. I already have anxiety, but I have heightened anxiety when I'm faced with like a camera or like an authority figure or something like that. I'm kind of just like, just like rendered completely dumb, which is weird because I feel like I'm okay in interviews, like for the job.
That is weird.
But then when I start the job, they're like, who is this dumb chick?
We hired you?
Anyway, so Pete Davidson and Adam Sandler did a great video. There's like tons of, comic.
Yeah, those were being recorded before the whole lockdown though, right?
No, they weren't.
What?
You said they would have been recorded?
Yeah.
No. This one was like a collab, like they're both in their own homes and then they like.
Oh, so I thought you were talking about the special we watched. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, sorry. No. I'm talking about a video that him and Adam Sandler did. Yeah. And there's lots of comedians doing videos. So maybe they'll get all their material out now and then we can stop talking about COVID. Like, let's just stop it. Like, I don't even know. Now I don't even know. I'm just kind of ignoring like I'm not ignoring the rules and like the regulations, but I'm kind of just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I've heard enough about
this is the new normal. Yeah. Don't care.
Tell me when it's over.
Exactly.
That's all I need to know, really.
Exactly. I feel like I'm in that state now. I'm in this state of like acceptance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the new normal, and I will continue until the government and or my workplace says it's okay. And then we'll all like just come out.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be such a great day. I hope it's sunny that day.
I don't know. I just feel like my worst fear is that like I'll come back and people will be like, wow, she's changed. Like, I don't know, like appearance wise or like I wonder if there's going to be like a whole bunch of like like jokes about like before COVID and after, but like actual real photos. Because I know that there's a lot of those photos like now like memes and stuff.
Yeah.
But now there's just going to be real photos.
Real ones, yeah. Just a bunch of people that look like they're giving themselves double chins.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Did you hear there's an asteroid that just passed us pretty close?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
It was a few 100,000 kilometers away, but in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty close.
Like how big though? What
I think it was like
who
a
would
mile.
it kill?
I'm pretty sure it was like a mile wide, if I'm not mistaken.
A mile. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's not very big. Is it?
Well, it's traveling at like tens of thousands of kilometers an hour, so it could do some serious damage for sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like what are we talking about?
There was one, I don't know this, I don't even know if they figured out the size, but there's one that exploded over Russia a while back. Mm-hmm. And they couldn't figure out why this whole landmass was devastated and just trees were all blown up.
What happened here?
An old crater from like thousands of years ago, and they couldn't figure out what it was, and they realized, oh, it's just an asteroid.
Oh. That would be funny if you wake up one day and you're like, where did that come from? Oh, that's weird. Like no one saw it happen whatsoever. There's just a ginormous crater in like the playground.
Yeah. Do you think this COVID thing will make us think about those sorts of things more? Try and be more prepared for different scenarios?
I would love to see what the like what are they called? Preppers?
Oh, they're gonna have a heyday.
Yeah, I would love to see what the end of the world preppers.
They're just gonna go harder now.
Yeah. I would just think that like this was probably such gold for them.
Oh yeah.
They're like, there
Such
is a
validation.
reason why I have been hoarding cheese.
Yeah. Completely validated.
Yeah, exactly. And they're just like, this is our time. And I bet you know what? I bet you they were really disappointed when like essential stores remained open. Mm-hmm. They were just like, really? I had literally been saving cans of tuna for 5 years. Yeah. And you go and you keep the grocery stores open, you know?
Yeah.
And I bet you there's that one like prepper that like just completely forgot about toilet paper.
Yeah.
And like they get to that point and COVID hits and they're like, well, thank God the stores are still open.
Yeah.
And then there's no toilet paper and they're just like, oh my God. They must have like I don't know. They must have like a crisis of some sort.
Probably hit the survival guide and look at what leaves to use.
But I do think that it begs the question, like, are we really prepared for emergency situations or whatever?
Yeah. I think we'll be better prepared for medical ones. We're going to stockpile more masks and gloves and that sort of thing.
Oh, but yeah.
Hopefully we'll get some more production over here instead of relying on China so much. But
yeah, that'll be interesting to see. It's just weird how, like, it's literally, like, I was looking at places that don't have COVID. Like, the weirdest places, like, Kazakhstan or something like that. That's probably not even a place. Sorry. One of those. It ended with Stan. I'm not good at geography, but it was like really weird place, like that you've never heard of. Probably because no one travels.
Hence why there's no COVID there.
But yeah, I was thinking about it. How weird is that it's like literally hit everywhere, but where people don't want to go. It's pretty crazy to think about. But yeah, I think that people will be more prepared and stuff like that, which can't be a bad thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But tribes in Amazon have no idea what's going on either.
That's true. Probably Vice will do a documentary.
Surprising that we're allowed to go visit them from time to time. Do you need special permits or something?
Oh, to visit tribal populations in the Amazon?
They'd be more susceptible to our diseases in general, not just...
I think so. Humans. I mean, like, the only things that I really read about are anthropology studies on them. Mm-hmm. And those are super interesting because essentially the anthropologist has to kind of, they call them gatekeepers. So they have to kind of negotiate with the gatekeepers to allow themselves within the tribe, right? So as a researcher, you kind of have to find these people that you can talk to and get a trust relationship going in order to actually, be brought into the larger group. And they do the same thing with gangs. So you find like, a gang member that will slowly...
Right, if we're trying to make a documentary or something.
Validate you and bring you in and say this person's safe or whatever. So I imagine it would be interesting. They must have to get certain permissions and permits and things like that. But yeah, they probably would be more susceptible for sure.
I always wonder why documentarians can just go visit like drug dealers and stuff, and the cops don't ask them like, okay, where were these guys? You know, it's weird.
Well, I feel like that's the whole thing, though.
Yeah.
Is I mean, social researchers have been doing research on fringe populations for like centuries, right? So I think it's the same thing. I think that documentarians have are kind of like social researchers in that sense, right? Where they can connect and they kind of say to these people like, I'm safe.
Yeah.
You know, you can trust me.
Yeah.
I will tell you the story. Yeah. That's how I view it.
Yeah. Remember I saw that there's this documentary series, I think it was National Geographic, this guy named Ross Kemps. I think he was in the military before, but then started, like you said, following gangs and stuff.
Yeah.
And just got in some crazy situations, having like AK-47s pointed at him and stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with a lot of documentarians. They put themselves at such high risk, you know, areas.
Yeah.
Just similar to journalists, but it's almost more dangerous because you're actually capturing what these people say, like on video.
Yeah, they're the ones that drove you out to wherever you are.
Exactly.
You're not in like a military convoy or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that it's pretty frightening. Like if you think of the backlash, even how people react to, you know, like the Tiger King documentary and how, you know, people were portrayed in that. And you think about the poor, like documentary, well, not the poor documentarians are rich now, but, but like, it would be very personal. You know, if someone didn't like what you said or whatever.
Yeah.
I think one of like the most interesting documentaries
Oh, so proper.
Documentaries that I've watched is the Pazuzu one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Devil guy
it was a
something?
Vice documentary on this guy that was like almost like a self-proclaimed, like, I guess, devil worshiper or whatever. But really, it was just some dude living in his mom's house that put a whole bunch of weird tattoos on his like face and body.
Yeah.
And had like, you know, dreadlocks, and apparently he filed his teeth to like a point or something like that. And he didn't bathe. And his house was the party house. And you could do whatever you wanted to within that house. And at the same time, he was kind of an oddball character and very like emotionally unstable. So yeah, he would talk about freaky things, you know, like the devil and devil worship and sacrificing and, you know, and drink blood and stuff like that. But he was just really like an emotionally unstable, probably like mentally ill person.
Yeah,
you
sounds
know?
like it, yeah.
And people just went there because it was a party house.
It wasn't a cult thing, it was just a party.
No, it was just like a party, like a dirty party
Skeezy,
house where you could do anything that you wanted.
Yeah.
And it ended up that he actually murdered, I think 2-3 people. And they buried them in the backyard.
Wow.
Pretty freaky. So it escalated, obviously, too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a place where you can go and it's utter chaos.
Yeah.
And you can do whatever you want without repercussions.
And who knows what drugs going on? Obviously, something's gonna
exactly.
escalate.
So I think it just created this crazy situation.
Yeah.
And people were terrified of like turning him in and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just think about like the documentarians that were involved in that and how interesting that would be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he had gone to prison and actually committed suicide.
Oh well.
So the only people they really had to talk to were people that were like, whoa, like willing to share their story.
Yeah.
So it's not as scary at that point. But the coolest is not the coolest. Is that they ended up tracking down his mom. And his mom lived in that house throughout this whole entire thing. Yeah. So they track her down and she is like the sweetest, most ignorant old lady.
What?
Like completely,
Yeah.
like just not acknowledging what her son did
She was
at
just
all.
hiding upstairs the whole time, just chilling.
She was hiding in like the back room. And I don't know how she, like, it must have been a terrible life because the guy was partying all the time in that house. But yeah, they meet up with her and she's like, I don't know, she has his pictures everywhere in their house.
Yeah.
And weird.
Yeah.
Very weird. And then you think too, like, I was kind of like, wow, she actually went there. She actually went on the documentary. I'm really struggling with that word today.
a whole 5 syllables. It's a tricky one.
Right? I feel like there's always one word that we struggle with
Yeah.
throughout this entire
Especially in the
episode.
intros, yeah.
Every episode of GrayVee on the City has one word
Yeah.
that we just have a really hard time with. Brewery was one of them, which is brewery.
Brewery. It's one, no matter,
And
it never sounds right.
It is not because we have beer, because we usually only have like what, half a can or whatever.
While we're doing this.
We just sound like
We sound like we've had a few.
we sound like we're just complete. Anyways, so yeah, it was really interesting that she agreed to like go on, because oh man, if you think of all the people that would just throw a hissy fit that she's just living like completely normally, right?
I blame her for being like an enabler or something.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, she was in the house when this guy.
And clearly he's
murdered.
mentally ill, so why wouldn't she?
Yeah, well, that's the thing,
She's
right?
his mom. Maybe she's blind to it somehow. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that with anyone that's severely like mentally ill, I think that the parent obviously has such a hard time, because it's like, this is their kid, you know, and not to justify like that is a really extreme situation, but it ended up that the one of the people in the documentary actually sympathized with her, because she felt like this was a situation where he didn't get the help he needed, and it got to such an extreme, and she experienced a loss as well. Right. And if you think about it, your kid growing up and becoming so severely mentally ill, that's a huge like loss. It's almost like a death of a child, right? This got really dark. What time are we at? Is it time to?
Yeah, it's about time to wrap this up.
Nice.
I was gonna bring something else up, but it's a little dark too. So I'll
Is
save
it
it for
dark?
next
I think
time.
we should. Yeah, I think we should deviate between dark and light.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the next
balance.
one will be like a more hilarious podcast.
Some funner topics.
Exactly.
Talk
Well,
about
think-
elephant's feet. But,
Elephant's feet was pretty. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a great jam. Now I'm gonna think about like elephants with just like tiny ears on their feet.
I guess you just stand on the floor with your bare feet, and I'll yell into the other end of the room, into the floor, see if you can feel anything.
Oh wow, that's how you know you've been in isolation too long. When you start like, I don't know, pretending you're an animal or something. Let's be elephants today.
Let's have our wheel that you spin. What will we be today, babe?
Antelope? Okay, cool. What do even antelopes do?
Just eat grass, I guess.
Yeah.
Run away
probably.
from lions.
All right. Well, I think that's it for this episode. What are we? Episode 5.
Yeah.
Episode 5.
It's gone quick, I find.
Yeah, it's gone good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for
Thanks.
listening. And we will see you next week. Cheers.